Captain's Log Supplemental. The entirety of the ship's crew is recovering from a bout of Bontuvian syndrome, or as some of the crew have chosen to refer to it, horny disease. During our last away mission, our chief science officer brought a couple of the local fauna on board for further study. Their dander apparently causes a type of allergic reaction in the human body, causing hyperactivity in certain areas of the brain, some glands, adrenal production, you get the idea. Luckily, our EMH kicked in and was able to sedate the group before too many unfortunate things happened. You know, there really should be some kind of protocol for this in Starfleet. I mean, it happens so often. I mean, we gotta be better prepared. Whether it's some virus or pheromone or a psychic affliction, there should be some kind of sedative prepared for shipwide disbursement. I mean, it could be a button, like behind a glass case that says, "Break in case of shipwide orgy."
Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Rob. I am joined, as per the usual, by my friends and co-host, Stanford.
Hey there.
And Chris.
Hello.
As well as our producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
Our special guest is giving me a weird look. I don't know if I should introduce her.
We're going to talk to the special guest during the potpourri section.
Yeah, special guest will come in at potpourri.
Although, like, do you feel studied? Do you feel observed, Rob?
Special guest.
She should take notes to make him feel uncomfortable.
Because you've got an extra person watching you, and they're not even in the channel, so they're just, like, watching you.
Yeah, you know how, like, student teachers have, the adult in the room just, like, observing and making sure they don't fuck up? Like, that's what it feels like.
She's auditing the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's auditing the podcast.
She should make, like disappointed sounds from time to time whenever he's talking to really just get it in there.
Write some notes down on a clipboard.
Although, Chris, I just realized this is Amy that makes the cookies with me.
Oh, delicious.
So half those cookies were her.
Matthew, did you ever send her his reviews of our cookies?
I did actually, yeah.
You did? Okay, good. Because those are very in-depth.
However, I think we need to take a moment to recognize that there is a new honorary member of the podcast.
Are you talking about Ren?
Is that the name you're going with?
That is the name we're going with, yeah.
Aww.
Puppy!
Yeah, little puppy. We got a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
She's so freaking cute.
That's what I thought that they were based on the picture, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I found out that there is a King Charles Spaniel, and then there's also a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Cavalier one rides a horse.
Sort of. They're like the fancier version.
What? Sort of. Chris is like, yeah, it's just tough to find horses.
Yeah, it's just they need a really small horse.
I like that this breed was bred specifically to look like a breed that existed back in like the 17 or 1800s, and that was the whole purpose.
Dog breeding.
Dog eugenics is like
the worst augments.
I want his face to be terrible and breathing, but so smushy and cute.
Instead of super strength and super speed, they just get fucking breathing problems and shortened lives.
Dude, she snores so loud.
Oh my god. So I am going to, dear listener, you will now hear a recorded excerpt of this dog grown man snoring. Right now.
A moment of silence for Ren.
Yeah.
A moment of silence for Ren.
Yeah, I'm going to get her a little puppy CPAP machine.
Well, the two of you laying there with
She's pretty cute.
Did you go out looking for a dog, or did you end up with a dog?
Amy said the CPAP machine.
The CPAP machine. They just went out. They just went out for a drive and picked up the first dog they saw.
Well, sometimes it's like, sometimes you go looking and sometimes, you become aware of a dog that needs a home. And
Yeah. So this was a becoming aware of the dog.
okay.
So like, Kelsey works at a vet hospital, right?
Which means it was inevitable.
Yeah. Yep.
So like we were talking about getting a dog before Hemi had passed away, and we really wanted her to be able to meet Hemi before he had passed, but unfortunately, little Red was on medical hold, so she didn't get a chance to. But yeah, like we've been waiting for almost 8 weeks for this dog.
Okay, so this was inbound before you guys.
Yeah,
before Hemi
yeah.
passed.
Like
okay.
Kelsey was on the anesthesia team that like knocked this dog out for her surgery. And like someone had mentioned that she was like up for adoption, and then Kelsey was like, "Oh, really?" And then the rest of the staff just kind of like egged her on to look into adopting her. And,
yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. So she came home and she's like, "Would you hate me if we brought home a dog from work?" But yeah, she's super sweet, and she's like attached to Kelsey at the ankle right now. It's very funny. Yeah.
Very exciting.
So that's the new honorary podcast member.
Ensign Wren.
Yep. Not a red shirt.
No.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, Captain's Log Supplemental is a Star Trek rewatch podcast. Each week we're watching a new episode of Star Trek, marching ahead in Stardate order, or in this case, just date order, because we don't have star dates yet.
Yeah, my first note for this episode is it's December 27th, 2154.
Yeah. So we are still in the Enterprise timeline, season 4 up to episode 17 now, so we're actually almost at the end of the show. And there was much rejoicing. We like to remind everybody at the top and bottom of the podcast, please remember to rate, review, like, subscribe, share us with your friends, inflict us upon your enemies, whatever you feel is appropriate here.
Speaking of inflictions, this episode.
Oh God.
Segue.
What a segue. So we kick off this week's episode with a just a regular old captain's log from Archer. Enterprise is heading to a star system to scope out the first potential like Starfleet starbase outside of the Earth's like the Sol system, I guess. T'Pol lets him know that the only major fauna is what sounds like a fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah, they took my joke.
Like, what?
I had the we found dragons joke in one of my cold opens like weeks ago.
It sounds like there be dragons here. So
Yeah. Yep. So as soon as they arrive in the system, a ship sets an intercept course from Enterprise. They both lock weapons on each other, and surprise, it's an Orion vessel.
Man, this ship shows up, and they're like, put it on screen. And it shows up on screen, it reads like, doesn't look very friendly. Like, it's a fucking ship, dude. What does that mean?
He's ship racist. He's just,
yeah, right? It's like, I don't like how bulbous their heads are.
I don't like the paint color of the ship. It looks mean.
Fucking starship phrenologist here. Well, like you can tell by the size of the dorsiflexion that
he's a big fan of Ferengi vessels. He really likes the lobes. They wind up in like the world shortest standoff, after which the Orion captain invites him aboard to talk with some very Godfather-like charisma.
He's being very cagey.
You said what?
I said he's being very cagey.
Yes. Yeah. I will note too, like he seems more like not. So, like, most of, like, the male Orions we see are just very aggressive.
Stupid.
and braggadocious and stuff. He seems just very reserved and calm.
Yeah. Well, you remember, like, the last male Orion we met was, like, the guy that was played by the WWE wrestler.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I could see where that comes from. Archer, Reed, and a few Makos prep to head over via transporter. We get a little...
Reed's like, last time we almost lost 9 crew members to slavery. And I'm like, well, 8 crew members and that one resident cuck you guys keep around.
Also, Data somehow.
Yeah.
So back in engineering, Kelby is very upset that Trip has stuck
Oh my
around to help
God.
her out with the ship's repairs.
Kelby is being such a little bitch.
I don't know
is.
who's. I'm not aware of a Kelby. I know a not gonna be her long commander.
Yeah.
Lieutenant. He's a lieutenant. Lieutenant
Yeah,
not
that's right.
going to
He's
be
like-
here long.
Yeah, Lieutenant not gonna be here long.
Although I would point out that like Kelby's like, yo, I'm mad because you're clearly coming back to take my job away. And Trip is like, nah, I'm not. You're being a little bitch.
But
We learned
later in the
later
episode.
that like weeks before this, he had definitely come back to take this guy's job back.
Yep.
So
So Trip
I
just
know this is
lied to
gonna
his
sound
fucking
crazy.
face.
It's only been days. Like, they crammed so many episodes into days worth of time.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Like,
that's
at the
fine.
end,
But
Trip said-
but this is like 24 hours before the very end of the episode. And he said that he filed for the transfer like 3 days ago or whatever, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, it's wild to me that, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot has happened in a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just me. T'Pol also swings by to help Trip with repairs. She asks Trip if he's had any weird daydreams about her, to which Trip plays coy, and T'Pol immediately regrets asking him because Trip is a dick.
My note here is, oh, these two got their chemistry back.
Yeah. We find out the captain, a Herod Sar, serves up some drinks and hospitality to the captain and tactical officer. The drinks are Gorn in origin.
I was gonna say, did you notice we got a little Gorn tease here?
Yeah, man. You can't not mention everything with your prequel show. Like that's just how prequel shows work.
Yeah, you have to break continuity at every turn.
I'm genuinely surprised there wasn't one of them that was like, nah, it's too bad the whales are gone. Like,
after Archer doesn't seem like he's very hungry, the captain asks, well, maybe this will make you hungry, and then he invites 3 Orion slave girls in for
Oh my
Well,
God.
we have to have this sexy Orion dance scene.
so my notes here are,
dude.
quote, before entertainment, sigh. Then, okay, what are we doing here? And then 3 separate bullet points going sigh, sigh, sigh.
Yeah.
And then I said, still somehow less horny than that first decon scene of this show.
Yeah. Well, here.
Yeah, or Archer falling into T'Pol's boobs.
Oh, fuck, I forgot
Because
about
that
that.
totally happened.
God damn it.
Yep.
I hate
Glad I
this
could,
show so much.
Remind you of these wonderful parts of Star Trek Enterprise. They put on the Galaxy's Strangest Dance ritual, which I don't know. Like, it's very interesting because I learned some fun things about one of the actresses that played one of the Orion women in the show.
Oh, this is a fun hussy fact with Rob.
She was I don't know what the difference is between burlesque and neo-burlesque, but she was a neo-burlesque dancer at one point in her career. And I feel like they completely ruined the opportunity to make use of that here, and instead just had her writhe. I don't know. It was very strange.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many burlesque shows you've been to, Rob. But
I was gonna say.
Usually it's this, but like more tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's like sexy, but like sort of sarcastic
Well,
sexy.
like I want to be very clear on what's happening here. There is at least a couple minutes of screen time dedicated to 3 green women belly dancing.
Yeah.
And like,
and
that's
Reed
it.
and Archer are very on board the
And
whole
then
time.
Reed and Archer fuck them with their eyes. Yes.
Yeah. Reed immediately loses all of his very limited capacity for thought. And then the scene ends. Then very abruptly, we're back on Enterprise again. Archer rejoins T'Pol in his ready room. Says that Hardsar wants to give Starfleet the coordinates to a mining site for magnesite and a deal for mining claims. And also, we got 3 Orion slave girls.
Yeah, he just accepted some fucking slaves.
I mean, I couldn't say no, says Archer.
Yeah, yeah. So he gave the three Orions to Archer as a thanks for negotiating with him. This is a weird parting gift, but
thanks,
whatever.
thanks for the business deal. Here, have some tarts.
Yeah, it's like the after dinner mitts at a diner.
Yeah. There's three tarts. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Reed shows Orion's to their quarters. He
Okay.
barely manages to keep it in his pants while he's doing it.
Okay. I understand what they're going for. But
Mhm.
Reed did not stare at their tits the whole fucking time. I don't think he knows they have eyes. And I get it, but also come on, man. Try a little bit.
It's very heavy-handed. T'Pol, then asks Archer to talk with the Orions. Apparently they've been distracting the crew from their duties.
Captain, they just dressed too sexy. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. In what is possibly the most awkward scene I have ever seen in this entire show, Reed runs into Mayweather in the gym.
Oh my god.
Trying to cool off by working out until he was so much
This
pain
whole
he could stop
conversation
thinking about the
was fucking
Orions.
stupid.
It's like gotta work out that horniness.
Although, I mean, Travis is looking good.
Gotta sweat out the horny. We get another story about the Horizon and how they picked up some Deltons once that caused similar issues for their crew.
Hey, Deltons, we just talked about
yeah.
this.
We did,
I was going to say, it's very timely given last week's episode about Section 31. One of the Orions then visits Kelby in engineering to thank him for getting directions to the mess hall, because that's definitely a reason to go to engineering. All the women in engineering are rightfully getting pretty exasperated with the men on duty there. Kelby gets distracted and agrees to give a tour to Dinesh.
It got to the point where I was like, Kelby, are you just going to fuck her right here in the middle of the deck? What are you doing?
Yes.
That is also what all the background actors were expressing with their faces as well.
Yeah. Hoshi, meanwhile, visits Phlox in sickbay with a headache. He notes that another woman on board also had a headache.
Well, but that's not until after he goes, Hoshi, stop being jealous of the sexier ladies.
Yeah.
Yes, that is accurate.
Yeah, I think he refers to it as a healthy sexual tension with the crew.
Healthy sexual energy, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Phlox does love his orgies, so.
Yeah. It's Denobulan. That's how they roll.
There is a
he then gets a
Denobulan
bout of the vapors and has to take a knee to recover.
He does. He gets the Denobulan vapors.
Yep. We cut back to an infatuated Kelby getting pulled aside by Trip. He then refuses to follow orders and have Dinesh leave after Trip points out that she does not have the security clearance to be in engineering. Trip then orders him confined to quarters and threatens him with the brig when he gets sassy.
He's like, take your greed trollop with you.
Yeah.
Oh, these are going to keep coming, Chris. You just buckle up.
It's going to be lots of snorting from Chris for the rest of the episode. Archer visits Navarre in her quarters. Navarre really lays on the I'm your property, why don't you want to play with me real thick?
Fuck time, says Archer.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a good time to tell everybody, especially the misogynistic menfolk that we are, you're allowed to tell women to stop touching you, no matter how pretty they are. You're allowed to tell them to get the fuck away from you. You can do that. That's not
Stanford,
offensive or anything. You're allowed to do that.
But Stanford, pheromones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, luckily T'Pol was there to cockblock the whole situation. So
T'Pol is just a fucking sub commander bucket of cold water.
Yeah, but does she really? Because Archer immediately folds, and clearly he's a little disheveled by the time he gets back to the bridge.
You think he just snuck a quickie in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is what happened. Yes,
but also I don't know, because this whole conversation is y'all need to be taught how to not go to engineering. Maybe engineering should just have a no tart entry beyond this point sign. Maybe a sign's all you needed. And she starts macking on him, and he's like, she's like, does this break protocol? It's like, he says no, but like, I'm pretty sure just making out with your guest while on uniformed duty is not like okay.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but he's Captain Sexy, so he can do whatever he wants.
And you know what?
Yeah.
None of this would be a problem if there were like more women on this fucking ship. I
They'd all
bet
have headaches, though.
Columbia's not having this fucking problem.
Yeah.
He'd just be laid out in sickbay with a headache.
Yuck.
Yeah, so like Chris was saying, T'Pol rings and breaks up the little conjugal visit here, or whatever the fuck is going on. They're coming up on the world with the magnesite. He says he'll be right there, even though I'm pretty sure he clearly won't be right there.
Oh yeah, no, he fucks her. They fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He eventually makes it to the bridge, though,
Yeah,
with the zipper on his jacket very low.
Yeah, and he's all cum drunk, like he's
Oh,
fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that term at all.
Oh, is this your first time to the internet? You haven't heard that one before?
Oh man, don't care for that one.
Yeah. So they find a ship waiting in the upper atmosphere of the planet, hiding away in an ionized cloud. So I'm not really sure what is happening here. If this is some Orion vessel, or if it just happens to be some random science ship that they see.
It's just I think it's just supposed to be like a bystander. It was supposed to be like proof that like Archer is compromised or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's because you don't see them again.
No, they take off. Yeah.
No, I didn't know if it was like, I don't know, some snub-nosed fighter or something from the
I don't
Orion
think so.
ship.
I think it was just like some alien species.
Yeah.
They were just checking out the planet.
Yeah. So anyway, they come
really
out of the.
It does beg the question as to why they even fucking shot at the Enterprise to begin with. Why didn't they just leave?
It's so weird. They come out of the ionized cloud and literally just start blasting. T'Pol says it's probably a science vessel, given how poorly armed it is, and like Reed is literally giddy with how little damage the ship can do to Enterprise. He's so
Captain,
happy.
they're just tickling our bowls.
Yeah. So, naturally, Archer orders Reed to blow them out of the sky, which, surprisingly, Reed refuses.
I know.
Very
I
annoying.
was like, you can refuse this order. It's okay. Just don't do it. And then he does it. I'm like, oh, shit. Good job, Reed. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely
Archer
surprised.
Archer, like, shoves him away from the tactical console, but fortunately, the ship flies off before Archer can commit a war crime. Dinesh decides to visit Kelby in his quarters. Kelby goes into full-on whiny baby mode, and Dinesh pushes him to usurp power from Trip.
Dinesh is like, oh, I thought you were a real man, Lieutenant Cuckby. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what she said.
And he's like, yeah, I am a real man.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
I got a penis and everything.
So she really lays on this whole like gimmick of trying to get him to commit a coup or whatever. Very thick. Asks what he'd do to keep her forever, to which he responds, anything you want. Apparently, anything you want is sabotaging the warp reactor, because he immediately goes back to engineering and sabotages the warp reactor.
Yep.
He then
Trip's like, I knew
punches
you
Trip
were a
in the
fuck up.
face. Yeah. Trip takes a punch directly to his jaw when he tries to stop Kelby from blowing up the ship. And Trip returns the favor. He gets the rest of the engineering staff to shut down the whole warp reactor before the ship explodes. And then an angry Kelby winds up in restraints in sickbay with a very irritated Flux, who's apparently staying awake, just giving himself
Yeah,
stimulants.
he's just taking uppers.
This
yeah.
Yeah, this scene was hilarious, because like he just takes the little hypo spray syringe and just like jabs himself with some caffeine in the neck.
He's like, oh yeah, that's the stuff.
That would be very useful for drives home after a very long day of work.
And I guess like they've now determined like the issue is these pheromones. Can they not just
Yep.
like air purify the ship?
So you remember how HVAC systems are like the crux
Right.
of humanity's defense against
Yeah,
interstellar species?
it happened again. Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, it happened again. Yeah, apparently, like we just don't use I don't know, HEPA filters in the future.
Okay, and I will say, like, this is the moment of the episode where it turned from stupid to idiotic, because, like, they now have solved they've figured out the mystery. Why are all the men acting like horny dogs? They solved the mystery and then do nothing to fix the problem.
Yeah, my next several notes are, why aren't they locked up? Like, why are they still roaming free?
So, interestingly, we find out two things. One, T'Pol and Trip seem like they're the only two crew members unaffected by the Orions.
Yeah, T'Pol's Vulcan claim on her man supersedes this hussy pheromone.
Yeah, I actually really like this. It was a fun little bit of lore. But the other thing is, we find out that even if you throw the Orions and lock them in the decon chamber, apparently the decon chamber doesn't mean shit because their pheromones can get through the walls.
Which, like, okay, but maybe the decon chamber with the prisoners should be guarded by fucking women then.
Yeah. And
there are women Makos.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have debilitating headaches. They can't do it.
Now, I will say, this is the first time we actually get a conversation with these ladies, and they are fucking funny. Like, they are no notes funny bitches. Like, they are hilarious.
Yeah. So, Archer pays them a visit. The crew, as it turns out, has found a communication device in the Orion's quarters, and that I don't know how, but they backtracked the log on the communicators to see that they had contacted Harad Sar recently, in the last couple hours. So they're assuming that he's close. Hilariously, for the first time in the entire series, Navarre finally calls Archer out for his complete lack of an ability to play.
Oh my god, it was so funny. She's like, "You're not intimidating even a little bit." He's like, "Yeah, I've been saying this since season 1, bitch."
There are so many. There's an absurd amount of Archer interrogation scenes. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like he's actually a bad cop.
Well, they just really want him to look like a tough guy, but he's just not.
Yeah.
No, it always fails. If they wanted to make him look like a tough guy, the tough guy act has to succeed at some point, but it never does. Not once in 4 seasons has it ever succeeded. But yeah, so like I was saying, T'Pol barely manages to keep Archer from releasing Navarre after she gets pheromones out of the decon chamber somehow and starts mind controlling him again. But fortunately, they don't let her out, and they go back to the bridge. Archer asks T'Pol on the way back to help Trip out in engineering.
But those Makos are looking very sweatily at the Orions.
Yeah. Every dude on this entire ship is just in a cold sweat this entire episode.
Well, the Makos guarding them have the look on their eyes that I can only describe as, I can't wait till the captain leaves so I can let these sexy bitches out.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
That's just what their eyes said.
Fighting it with every fiber of their being.
With a single fiber of their being.
They are a one-dimensional character, and that is the only fiber. T'Pol heads down to engineering to help out Trip. They start discussing their shared immunity, and T'Pol mentions
You mean their bone bond?
Yeah, their bone bond.
Their Vulcan bone bond.
Oh god, I hate you, Chris.
Come on.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So T'Pol mentions that when Vulcans mate, they establish a psychic bond. Trip is offended at the notion of having mated with her, but finds out that the reason for his and her shared daydreams, at least, so her immunity is being shared with Trip through the psychic bond, and that's why neither of them is affected by the pheromones.
Yeah. It's Vulcan whore protection.
Oh my god!
Did you just call T'Pol a whore?
No. She's protection from whores.
Right.
Oh,
and to keep your man from getting with any whores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whores.
Whores. Y'all know the difference between a hormone and an enzyme?
This is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be real. Mariah's already sighing. I just want you to know that.
I've never heard an enzyme.
Oh my god.
My sibling.
that's a
Hold
dad
on,
joke.
give Rob a minute. Give him a minute.
I've never heard an enzyme.
What you've heard of.
Oh God.
So I want you to know that I'm sitting watching television. This was a couple years ago. I'm sitting watching television with Mariah, and my sibling calls me on the phone, which is like, oh shit, someone's dead. Like, no one calls me. And I'm like, oh my God, Quinn, is everything okay? And they're like, I have a joke for you.
Oh my God.
And that is the joke
No,
they
I
told
thought they
me.
asked a question. I have a question for you.
Oh, maybe
They
that's
asked
what it
you,
was too.
what's the difference?
But
It was
like-
a serious question.
But that was the joke they told me when I thought someone was dead.
You didn't know it was a joke until you figured out the punchline.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow.
Anyway, back on the bridge, Haradzar makes his long-awaited reappearance. He reveals that Archer has had a bounty placed on him by the Orion Syndicate, and he intends to collect. So then the Orion ship opens up on the Enterprise. Archer has Reed return fire, but they like barely put up a fight. Like, it's very obvious that the Orions are like way outgunning them. We also find out that the Orions have grapplers, the superior
Orion
method
grappler!
for dragging around your shit.
Oh, I had Orion Grappler in all caps.
Yeah.
Did you finally get to see the grapplers in action?
It's a different
or the
grappler.
Orion
It's a
grapplers.
different grappler.
It's a different grappler.
Sorry.
They should have grappled back, so it was like a tug of war.
Double
That would have been
grapple.
awesome.
So, well, awesome. So, like, I get that, like, they got the grappler attached to the Enterprise, and they're like, put the thrusters on full reverse, and it doesn't work. Like, okay, I get that the Orion grappler might be strong enough to resist that, but like, are the hull plates on the front of the ship that strong? Because that's fucking ridiculous.
Turns out that yes, as long as it's not the wing of a Klingon bird of prey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a grappler pulled the wing off of a fucking bird of prey, but like the thrusters on the Enterprise can't pull off like a couple of plates on the
They're
outside of the
bolted
hull.
down very well.
Very well.
They got reinforced because of the whole like Zindi incident.
Yeah, they've got mollies really well embedded down into the hull. Yeah.
Yeah. This is also the point where Haradzar also reveals that Orion men are slaves.
I did
and
not.
It is in fact the women who are really in charge.
I did not realize that this was the moment in Star
This
Trek
was
that
the-
was canonized. I thought that was a lower decks
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. And then I looked at this episode. I'm like, oh, okay. So this dumb episode is the reason for that. Okay.
So once again, you both have watched Enterprise. I'm the only one who went into this.
Christ,
blind.
Rob, it was one piece of dialogue in the episode where there was nothing but ass shots of scantily clad women.
Yeah.
Give me a goddamn moment.
They had the horny sweats. They couldn't focus on anything else.
Couldn't
So what you're
focus on
saying
what
is you
this
went
fat
full
fuck was
Reed.
saying. I got horny sweats for the ladies. I got horny sweats for fucking Travis working out in the gym. Like, it was a horny episode, man. I wasn't paying attention to lore.
What about Reed working out in the gym?
Nah,
Also-
he's a toothpick of fucking worthless British bullshit.
This entire episode is completely unmemorable. Like, just like there's just this.
I
is
did
just,
not remember any of this.
Yeah.
Trip and T'Pol come up with a sneaky little maneuver that requires T'Pol to go back onto the bridge. But the three sisters also make it back up to the bridge.
This is where my notes are. Just shoot them. Shoot them. Just
Yeah.
shoot them. Shoot them.
Yep.
As soon as
Same-
they come
same
on the
here.
bridge, just start shooting them. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So fortunately, after they compromise both Reed and Archer, Trip shows up and shoots Reed and Archer.
does not
But-
shoot them.
But then
shoots,
stop shooting.
Shoots the yeah, and yeah.
It does not shoot the women.
Does not shoot
Listen.
the women.
It's okay because he's got Vulcan horror protection.
Which, like, okay,
anyway.
and that's fine. That's fine. He's got, fucking Vulcan prostitute be gone, whatever. But, like, then he gets into the turbo lift with the three of them, which is a very close space. And even though their main weapon seems to be these pheromones, they are still, like, people with muscles and hands and stuff. Like, the three of them
Yeah.
could overpower Trip in a tiny little turbo lift.
and as we learned from Tendi, like apparently Orion women are trained as assassins or some shit,
Some of them, at least.
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't know what.
It was
what
just
they
like,
think.
just shoot them. I guess they didn't want to shoot the pretty ladies.
Nope, can't do that. It's on network television. So yeah, T'Pol finishes up her work, and they fire off the positron technobabble burst from the deflector through the grappler along the zip line. It disables the Orion ship. We don't even see any of this. I realized, like, thinking about this, going back, like they just kind of like cut away, and then you see Enterprise just kind of floating on its own again.
No. They show it. They show the electrical pulse going up the wire, and then it kind of explodes something up on the Orion ship, and then the wire comes detached and shit. So yeah, we see it.
Oh man.
So I know how this is like. This is just another episode of Star Trek, but it's so just another episode of Star Trek because you have like the sexy aliens, you have the deflector solving the problem.
Yeah.
It's just like,
dude,
it was pure Star Trek formula here.
They're missing a key feature though. They didn't reverse the polarity of something.
Nor were there any Jeffries tubes. Well, actually, so technically they did reverse the polarity. That's what the pulse was doing.
Right,
It flipped their EPS manifold to blow up the Orion's power system.
I hate everything you just said.
Yeah, the only thing that was missing was Jeffries tubes.
Yeah. So yeah, the senior staff decide to hold a meeting in sickbay. T'Pol makes a joke about Orions having at least some good attributes, meaning, letting the women be in charge.
Good joke.
They also, it's weird because they're all surprised that T'Pol makes this joke because she's a Vulcan.
She has made jokes before.
Joked. Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess they're just trying to show that the psychic link is also going from Trip to T'Pol. I don't know.
Or they're just trying to make a joke at the end of the episode.
Maybe. So the two of them, leave Trip and T'Pol, and have a heart-to-heart in the hallway outside of sickbay. Talk about how they make a great team. Trip finally twists T'Pol's arm into admitting that
Trip gaslights the shit out of her.
Yeah. He twists her arm into admitting that she actually wants him to come back to Enterprise. She does. He replies that he'll think about it, so she just kisses him because that's how we resolve.
I don't know. I was like, "Aw, this was cute." I like the kiss. This time it was earned. This time this was.
So at this point, he then reveals that he's actually already asked Captain Hernandez 3 days ago for a transfer back to Enterprise.
Yeah,
so
he lied to Kelby's
engineer back.
Fucking face. Lied to his face.
Look, Kelby deserved it. That's all I'm going to say.
God damn. And Kelby's not a bad
the
guy.
Orions
He
got
just
on board,
sucked. He was just not good at his job. Although I will point out that Kelby was fucking recommended by Trip.
Well, not only that, I don't think that Kelby was actually bad at his job. I just don't think that he was prepared for the job that they gave him.
But then he also acted like a little bitch about it. Isn't that the
definition of being bad at your job?
There's a difference, though, because when they knew that Trip was going to leave, he should have either had to stick around to train somebody to take over his job, or at least left some goddamn documentation. They just threw Kelby into the fucking fire here, had him go into some very intense situations, and then they get mad when he doesn't, just figure shit out.
Although based on the dialogue that we had with Trip on the Columbia and then kind of some of the shit with Kelby and stuff, it sounds like Trip wasn't doing a lot of shit by any kind of book. And everyone's mad at him or mad at Kelby for not knowing the random magic that Trip was pulling off with just off the top of his fucking head.
Right. That's what I mean.
That's
kind
of
tell people.
That's kind of not fair. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but also he's a little bitch, so fuck him.
Yeah. Lieutenant Cuckby.
Yeah.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where 0 is threshold, how do you guys rate this one?
I know I said that it was standard Star Trek schlock, which is kind of our base 3, but it was so stupid.
No, it was, because it's not just... It was standard Star Trek schlock, except that they substituted technobabble for sexy for most of it.
Yeah, well put. Yeah, it's a 2. It's a 2.
I also gave it a 2. A kind of low 2.
Yeah, it's not quite one worthy, but it's definitely earned a 2.
Yeah, that's where I am too. I gave it a 2. I thought does it really deserve a 1? I didn't give it a 1, primarily because the Orions had grapplers, so that's why I get a 2.
And boobs.
Sure.
Yeah, well, there are lots of tits. Yeah.
2 boobs.
That's 6, really.
IMDb also gave it a 2.
Wow. All right.
It's one of the lowest episodes for this show from IMDb.
I mean, I don't know how anybody could ever have like any thought that this is anything more than just a garbage throwaway episode.
I mean, this is like peak. We made this for the teenagers fiction.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck. I don't know what they were thinking. That's the problem I'm having, is I don't know what they were thinking. Because, like, it's one thing if, I don't know, because they already did the sexy, like, seduction move, right, with Raijin. Like, they already did that move. And, like, that episode was bad enough, but it wasn't so gratuitous. Yeah. But this was just like the camera was 3 inches off that lady's ass as she was walking through the corridors for like countable moments of film time.
Well, I think the problem was that they were like in between multi-part episodes and like, well, we need another episode to round out the numbers.
Fuck, I guess. It's just
Rick Berman was like, let me lay it out for you boys.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back for a relatively short time. Welcome back, everybody. For this week's deep dive, I wanted to take a look at the actress who played Navarre, the lead Orion. I don't know if it was ever specifically said that she was the captain, but I just assumed that she was the actual captain of the ship, right?
I was under that impression as well. I don't know if it was ever said she was in command, but...
It seems like Archer dived deep in there.
Yeah. Shut up. The actress's name is Saya Batten. She's actually got a couple other times where she's played parts on Star Trek. So one, the first time was as Tora Ziyal. Do you remember in Deep Space Nine, Gul Dukat's like illegitimate half Bajoran daughter?
Of course not.
What? It was. I mean, it wasn't like a major plot point, but she like showed up multiple times.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that show was a lot. Okay.
So she actually played Tora Ziyal. So I guess for those of you who don't know, Gul Dukat had an illegitimate daughter with a Bajoran native while he was like the chief oppressor of the Bajoran people. And after the war was over, had her and her mom shipped off allegedly to like some peaceful destination, but of course they got intercepted along the way by a Breen starship that blew them out of the sky, and then they all wound up like stranded on a planet. So at one point, Kira is going on like a mission to go find these people, and Gul Dukat like somehow weasels his way into the mission, and they wind up going and finding her. He had planned on killing her because he didn't want to, suffer the political backlash of
because he's a piece of shit. Yep, we understand.
Yeah. And then realizes that he actually can't kill her when they get there. He just refuses to kill his daughter. So he goes back with her, takes her to Cardassia, and then gets demoted and shit. It was weird. I don't know. The other character she played was in Stanford's favorite show, Voyager. Stanford, do you remember the episode Drive where they take the Delta Flyer into a rally?
Yes. Oh, is she the racer?
She's the racer, yeah. So she's the Turalian pilot, Irina, who turns out she's like a horrible racist. And she like, so it sounded like her ship was rescued by Tom Paris and Harry Kim when they found like her co-pilot had been electrocuted to death, like aboard his own ship. So her and Harry Kim get really close, but she like sabotages the Delta Flyer so that it'll explode at the end of the race, because she thinks that if it explodes and a whole bunch of people die, everyone's going to stop being friends and you won't wind up with interspecies mingling because you got to keep that bloodline pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, she was pretty, though.
She was pretty Nazi.
But I did not see that coming.
No.
God.
Yeah, like, it's very interesting. So she played a couple parts here. She's been on, like, every single iteration of CSI. She played a couple parts in movies, but, like, I was looking at her resume. So she's an interior designer currently. She was a dancer, like I'd mentioned earlier. She was a model, an actress, and she belonged to a neo-burlesque troupe called the Pussycat Dolls.
What, like the band?
Nope, the dance troupe. Yeah.
Well, they were a girl group and dance ensemble, so I think they did have some music.
Yeah. So anyway, that was this week's deep dive. We're gonna take another break, and when we come back, we're gonna have some potpourri to stay.
Welcome back. So, as we alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, we have a special guest for Potpourri. It is my friend Amy, although I'm not sure my friend is a good word for it because really Mariah will take umbrage with me claiming her because Mariah and her are like best friends.
So
I'm a friend of the show.
Yeah.
there you go. Our friend.
Friends.
Our
Comrade.
friend Amy. Hi Amy. So, welcome to our podcast. I am obliged to ask you what your experience with Star Trek is.
All right. So grew up watching episodes here and there. Famous Tribble episode. First Star Trek movie I remember watching was in about 6th or 7th grade, and I went because it was a field trip with our grade and everyone could decide which movie they were going to. And I picked the Star Trek movie because there was a cute boy that I liked going to see it.
Oh, wait, hold on. You in 6th or 7th grade, was that Star Trek Generations then?
Probably. It had the we will assimilate you.
Oh, no, that was First Contact.
No, that's First Contact. That's First Contact.
There was like
okay.
a shimmery ribbon in the sky,
Hey,
maybe?
at least you picked a good one.
Well, nope. So hold on. Shimmery Ribbon in the Sky was Generations.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well,
Assimilate You was First Contact. I bet it was Generations, the one with Kirk and Picard in it.
I don't know. It had the Borg lady, I thought.
Okay, that's First Contact then.
That
Someone
was
will
19.
fact check me. I have no doubt.
Borg lady was like 1997.
John listens to this, so he'll fact check.
Yeah, John will know.
Thank you, Mr. John.
But that you know what I will say, especially if it was Generations, that might be the best reason to watch that movie. So, no.
All right.
Chris?
Well,
Was it Chris?
no, I was just gonna give a shout out, Zach Mihawk. If you're out there, you definitely knew that I had a crush because I was so fucking awkward.
Just as a man who lived through that period of time in my life, there's a good chance he did not.
Oh yeah, you weren't aware of all the girls that had crushes on you in 6th grade, Chris?
Nope, and there were. I wasn't aware of the girl who had a crush on me in high school, okay?
Is that the one that's married to you right now?
Yes, it is. We got there eventually, but I'm just saying, you might be giving him too much credit.
So now when you said you watched episodes here and there when you were younger, was it mostly the original series with the the one with the triples, or was it some of the next generation stuff with like Patrick Stewart and whatnot?
Probably a little bit of everything, but I might
Okay.
not have realized that they were all part of like the same
Sure.
everything, like universe.
Okay.
'Cause-
Did you watch the newer movies with Chris Pine at all?
No.
Oh, okay. You would probably like that, and they're fun, you know. But that's cool. Well, welcome to the podcast. I have crafted a trivia that is designed with you in mind. Okay.
All right, so all the questions are about cute animals that have been on the show. Got it.
Correct. See, she gets it. I have created a quiz wherein I have a question for Amy and then a question for Rob and Chris that is related but not the same. Okay? So Rob and Chris, you two are actually on a team in this one.
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't know how it's going to work.
Chris, I'm sorry that you have lost trivia.
So basically, I will ask Amy a question, and then whether or not she gets it right, I will then ask you two a separate question that you need to give me an answer to. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mariah can't hear me. I can keep score. All right. So the first question, Amy, is to you. Okay.
Absolutely.
In an episode of the original series entitled The Enemy Within, Scotty beams up a creature from a planet in order to test the transporter systems. While it was supposed to be some kind of exotic alien species, the actual animal in the actor's arms was a real-life common pet with a unicorn horn strapped to its head. What kind of animal was it?
I'm hoping this unicorn horn that was strapped to its head was so visibly ridiculous. Like the props master just like duct taped it. I gotta go dog because I can't imagine a cat strapping anything to its head.
That is correct. And actually,
I'm so good at this.
based on your question right there, I'm going to show the Discord a picture of it so that you can see exactly how ridiculous
Yeah,
this
much like
fucking dog
most of the props and makeup in TOS, it's a little rough.
Okay, that also looks like a full
it's a little rough.
costume.
Yeah.
It's mostly the dog's own hair no, I'm sorry. I guess it is a bit of a costume because like you can see the dog's face poking through where the fur kind of comes out.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's just some kind of fucking dog with a unicorn horn and antenna on it. So
That's a magnificent beast.
Oh god, the fucking wire antenna too. Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
okay. Rob and Chris. All right. Over the course of all of the Star Trek shows, there are several breeds of dogs that have either been mentioned or canonically appeared in the show. I am going to list for you a bunch of breeds. You need to tell me one that was not canonically mentioned or appeared, okay?
Okay.
Beagle?
When you say mentioned, like, do you just mean in passing, like at all?
Like, for example, they mentioned one of the captain's like dogs from when they were a child, and like our whatever breed dog, such and such, but it was not actually visible on screen.
Yeah,
I have
Janeway had a dog.
I have seeded this list with 3 that are not correct, and I just need you to name one. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Beagle, Bloodhound, Cocker Spaniel, Collie, Doberman, German Shepherd, Great Dane, Irish Setter, Husky, Labrador Retriever, Malamute, Pit Bull, Poodle, Rottweiler.
Is there a page on the Star Trek Wikipedia that just lists every instance of a dog being mentioned on the show? Because that's
Yes.
an exhaustive list.
100%.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Memory Alpha is incredible.
Memory Alpha is a nexus of nerds with entirely too much time on their hands.
So my
incredible.
initial thought was Doberman, because I don't remember talking about it. Then I thought, well, there's lots of Nazis in Star Trek, so there's a good chance there was a Doberman there, so maybe not that one.
I like your logic there, Chris. Like,
Yeah.
They may have wound up in that Enterprise episode where they were fighting Nazis.
Right, yeah.
Nazis who had alien help, by the way.
You said Malamute was one of the ones you listed?
That is one of the ones on the list, yes.
I don't remember one. What about you, Rob?
Like, I'm trying to remember it because, like, Stanford mentioned a captain's dog. I think Janeway had an Irish setter
Right.
because she was, like, painfully, an Irish descendant.
Painfully.
Painfully.
Dude, her freaking holodeck program was about an Irish pub.
I mean, yes, that was bad, but no worse than the fucking Next Generation episode from season 1. Oh my god.
the Irish planet.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
What do you think,
okay.
Malamute?
I'm good with Malamute.
That is incorrect, actually.
Damn
Malamute
it.
was mentioned. Let's see. That's actually when Christine Chappell was a child. She had a pet Malamute named Milo, who bit a girl that called her stupid. That was in the Spock Amok episode.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
point of order, the Doberman was actually seen in Detroit when Archer went back in time.
Oh, in the car. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That was because I was also like, when did a Doberman show up? The three that I seated in there were Cocker Spaniel, Husky, and Poodle. Those three had never been on the show.
The Cocker Spaniel caught my ear when you first said it, but it was also like one of the first ones you said, so I totally forgot about it by the end.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. All right. Second question for Amy. Data, in order to work towards becoming more like a human, had a pet. Her name was Spot. What kind of common Earth pet was Spot?
With a name like Spot, I want to say it's a pig, but it's got to be like a cat.
You going with cat?
I don't know. I just got 2 looks in this room, so I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll go cat.
Okay, cat is correct. It is an orange cat. Yep.
Oh, that's a very Data-like name.
Famously, Data's cat Spot.
You're right, Spot.
Oh, man.
Oh, he did write Spot. Yes, I need you two to recite the poem about Spot. Actually, I can.
Can I look up the poem about Spot?
No. I will look it up while you two are puzzling through your question. Okay.
Okay.
There are several species in Star Trek that have been cat-like, felinoid, whatever you want to call them. Name one.
Does the Salat count, you think?
No. I mean like a sentient species.
Oh. What's shit?
Was it a sexy cat lady?
What's the doctor cat in
yeah. No, I'm trying to remember because we were talking about how Larry Niven's cat people wound up in Star Trek lore because of the animated series. I cannot for the life of me remember what they're called.
Nice. Yeah, y'all are both on the right track, but yeah, I need a name.
I have no idea what the doctor's species is called.
Feline. Wait. Do they have to be aliens? Can we just say house cat?
No, it's like a sentient species, yeah. Like aliens.
There has to have been a Star Trek episode where they had a talking cat. I don't know.
Does anyone want to take a guess?
The Leonids.
Sure.
Okay, that is incorrect. The 3 that are most prevalent are the Katans. That is what the doctor from Lower Decks is. The Kzinti. That's the Niven one. They do show up in the anime series. There's actually a couple Kzinti in Lower Decks as well. And then there's one called the Vidala. I have not heard of the Vidala. That is an obscure one. But Katans have shown up in like several series. Okay. All right, Amy, are you ready for a poem?
I would love a poem.
Data,
I would like a dramatic reading of a poem.
Absolutely. Data wrote this poem to his cat. It is called Ode to Spot. Felis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, an endothermic quadruped, carnivorous by nature. Your visual, olfactory, and auditory senses contribute to your hunting skills and natural defenses. I find myself intrigued by your subvocal oscillations, a singular development of cat communications that obviates your basic hedonistic predilation for a rhythmic stroking of your fur to demonstrate affection. A tail is quite essential for your acrobatic talents. You would not be so agile if you lacked its counterbalance. And when not being utilized to aid in locomotion, it often serves to illustrate the state of your emotion. Oh, Spot, the complex levels of behavior you display connote a fairly well-developed cognitive array. And though you are not sentient, Spot, and do not comprehend, I nonetheless consider you a true and valued friend.
That is delightful.
It's actually surprisingly good.
Mad props to whoever actually wrote that on staff.
Also, the rest of the crew on the ship gave him shit for it too. They're like, "Oh, that's not a poem."
Which is like, Jesus Christ, y'all back off. Like, yeah. Oh man. All right. Amy, are you ready for your next question?
I am so ready to win this thing.
All right. What is the fuzzy Star Trek creature famous for its ability to reproduce excessively?
It's a tribble.
Yeah, that one you knew.
I was gonna say, that was like, she listed that one right off the bat.
I know, right? And when she did, I was like, I thought she remembered. So yeah, she's probably gonna get that one. All right. Chris and Rob, In the animated series, ha ha ha, Cyrano Jones made a genetic modification to tribbles in an effort to get them to stop reproducing. While it did seem to work, what did the tribbles do instead, which turned out to be just as problematic?
Blowjobs.
No, I said problematic.
I vaguely recall something about this. It was either they got bigger or they ate more. I can't remember which. I feel like it's like they ate more or something.
Let's go. Just go with your gut, man.
Let's say they ate more or something.
I'm going to give it to you because actually it is that they grow in size. That is what they do.
Is it? Okay, okay.
But like I can see how those two concepts are related, and y'all are losing anyway, so fuck it.
I appreciate the charity, thank you.
Yes. It turns out though, what happened was instead of reproducing, they were still reproducing, they were just not giving birth. So like they were actually just growing as like
they were just a balloon
colonies.
full of tribbles.
Yes, they were just big furry balloons of tribbles. So it did not actually work. It just changed the nature of the reproduction. All right, question number 4 for Amy. A targ is a Klingon version of this Earth animal, though instead of snuffling for mushrooms, they're far more likely to eat you.
A pig?
That is correct. I would have also accepted boar. All right, Chris and Rob, which series had the most on-screen instances of targs with 4 separate episodes in which they appear? Now,
Enterprise.
This is not like the most individual targs on screen, just the most episodes that had a targ on screen.
I feel like Enterprise had a bunch of them.
Yeah, like we've seen a bunch. We were even complimenting the CG on one, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll say Enterprise.
Yeah.
All right, so Enterprise did have 3.
Damn it! Is it? Hold on. Let me guess what it was. Is it DS9?
Nope. DS9 had none.
Yeah. Okay.
It is Lower Decks with 4.
I didn't even think about Lower Decks.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes had a bunch in them.
Okay, I feel like it's really wrong to say on screen for an animated series.
Yeah, well, it's my game, so fuck you. Yes, and then one showed up in TNG on one episode,
Okay.
but that is it. Those are the only 3 times the only 3 shows that have actually had targs on screen. The targs have been mentioned in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only time you've actually seen them. All right, this is the last question, Amy. Vulcans famously have a vicious creature that they like to domesticate. They look very much like a prehistoric Earth animal, though these ones are not voiced by Dennis Leary. What animal do they look like?
I really wish you could see her face right now.
I try to throw in clues because otherwise it's it could be anything. But
yeah. No, that was good.
Vicious Earth animal, voiced by Dennis Leary.
Prehistoric as well.
Prehistoric.
Raz cheating.
And I recognize that this is not the correct actor, but all I can think of is King Koopa from the live action Super Mario Brothers.
So that is Dennis Hopper, not Dennis
Hopper.
Leary.
Yeah, I didn't think that was the right guy, but that's what came to mind.
Dennis Leary is the comedian who has the "I'm an Asshole" song, and he was he's in that firefighter show for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Vulcans famously have a vicious creature that they like to domesticate. They look very much like a prehistoric Earth animal, though these ones are not voiced by Dennis Leary.
Prehistoric.
You should give her the name and see if it helps.
I don't the name of what? The animal?
Yeah.
What it's called
No.
in Star Trek?
I'm not going to say that because that might be y'all's question.
Chris just said it 3 questions ago. So
Yeah, I know. And Amy said tribbles at the beginning. So what are we doing here?
Prehistoric. It's a dinosaur.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah,
Okay,
he voiced
so
the tiger in Ice Age.
Oh.
Yeah, Dennis Leary was the voice of the main saber-toothed tiger in Ice Age. Yeah, Chris and Rob, and y'all may just get this, but what is the name of the actual creature in Star Trek?
Salat.
Okay, spell it.
Well done.
Fuck off.
Sahlat.
Okay, so traditionally when we have a guest for trivia, we give them a bonus. However, in this case, we did not need to because Amy crushed you guys. Now, her questions were harder than yours. So, but at 4-1, Amy, you are our winner for today.
Wonderful. I expect a crown for the next time I'm on the show.
100%.
4 to
Break out the
2.
Christmas crackers.
You gave me the charity point before. Remember?
Do y'all? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. That's right. 4 to 2. I do have a tiebreaker if y'all want to answer it just out of funds.
Sure.
What percentage of U.S. households have a dog? Just closest number.
Price is Right rules or just closest?
No. I don't like Price is Right rules usually.
75%.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a dog person.
40%.
38%.
Okay, well, out of the three of you, Chris would have gotten it with 45.5%.
All right.
Nearly
Well
1 in
done.
2 households in this country have a dog.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
they're the best.
a lot of doggos.
It's a lot of dogs. So awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Amy. We really appreciate you being here.
It's been a delight. I have learned a lot.
We'll print out that poem and get it framed for you.
That would be a delightful post gift. Yes.
As we say at the top and bottom, thank you all for coming, and please do leave us a rate or review on whatever podcasting service you are getting us from. Go ahead and shout us out to your friends, your coworkers, your closely held, dearly loved, partners, flings. I don't care. Just tell anybody, please. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.